What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy BT, and today we are looking at this garage lift from FLEXIMOUNTS. So this garage lift from FLEXIMOUNTS, this is the model GL1. It is a 4-foot by 4-foot garage ceiling storage lift. This one is coming in black, and it's got a weight capacity of up to 300 pounds, and it is suitable for ceilings that are lower than 9 feet. So let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed. All right, so here is the product. So before we get started with the installation guide for the GL1, we want to thank FLEXIMOUNTS for sponsoring today's video.
Be sure to join FLEXIMOUNTS for the Amazon Prime Day from 7/16 to 7/17 in 2024. Use the code FM525005 to get your GL1 for just $170.99. Discover more storage solutions from FLEXIMOUNTS and enjoy amazing prices up to 50% off. Now, let's get back to the installation.
All right, so here is our installation guide. So we can see all the parts that come with this particular model here. All right, so to get started, we're gonna open up this package here to get the installation template, which we'll put on the roof. But before we go ahead to the roof, what we are looking for on our roof is a 48-inch span between the studs. So we're gonna have to go ahead and get a stud finder. If your ceilings are open, you'll be able to quickly identify where the studs are. But if you do not have that setup, if you got drywall, you got plywood, whatever you got, get your stud finder, locate those studs 48 inches apart, and let's get to work. So one important thing to note is on your installation template, this section here is the section that is actually in the back. So this biggest section here, which is where you will wind, will be in that portion of the template. So just keep that in mind as you're looking for placement to where you'd like to put this in your storage space. All right, so I've got some tape, I've got my stud finder. One thing you can do to help in this process is to try to identify screws in this place. There's some plywood up here. I can identify where the screws are and most likely find that stud. If you're dealing with drywall, your garage is unfinished, you should be able to kind of find those spots as well. And if you've got a finished garage, go ahead and just use that stud finder to help you out. So now we're gonna go ahead and locate our studs. Again, we're looking for a distance of 48 inches of span for that template to be applied to the ceiling. All right, so now I'm gonna take my tape measure and measure to see if that is a 48-inch span, and sure enough, we've got 48. So now we can get our template set on the roof. All right, so we can see we're hitting right about exactly where we need to be. So now we just need to tape this up here and get this situated for the installation. Now to put up the template, I'm gonna use a little bit stronger tape here, and I'm just gonna attach it to different portions of this to help get it to stick so we can get our template in the right place. All right, so we've got our template in place. Now we just want to go ahead and grab the rest of the tape to get everything else situated so it doesn't fall down. All right, so we've got our template in place. Next thing you want to do is just spot check it, make sure everything is lined up, looking good. And then from here, once we got that on the ceiling, then we can go ahead back into the box and start getting the pieces we need to drill the holes out. All right, so next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start getting our mounting hardware here. So you're gonna wanna go ahead, grab the brackets. You can see we got 2 brackets here and 2 right there. So we're gonna go ahead and grab our brackets, put them in place. We're gonna use a pencil to kind of mark out those spots on the ceiling so we can get our drill ready to roll. We're gonna be using a 3/16 drill bit here. They said to use a 5mm if you have that. And we're looking to go about 2.4 inches deep with this. So I went ahead and marked it with a piece of tape, and we're gonna go ahead and get those drilled out. So with this bracket, we're going to go ahead and face this part off to the side, the outside. But if you notice up there, you'll see even on the template, there's a cutout. So you really can't mess this thing up. All right, we've got our spots there. We're going to go ahead and do this to the other side as well. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab this bracket and get those holes marked as well. So with all of our holes marked, we're going to go ahead and get our drill and drill out the pilot holes. All right, so one thing I want to add is I have added tape to various spots on here on the template where I attached it to the ceiling. And the reason being is if you want to reuse this template in the future, you're able to do so. If you need to move your storage lift to another location, you'll still have your template ready to rock and roll. So add tape if you want to preserve that cardboard. All right, so at this stage, we have all of our spots marked out for where we need to drill our pilot holes. So we'll just come in here and drill all of our holes. All right, so here are the screws that we're going to use to install the hardware. And I'm going to go ahead and use a power tool to help speed up the process here. So we're going to get some, we're going to get the appropriate size for this, but we're going to go ahead and get all our hardware secured to the ceiling. All right, so here we have a 13 millimeter. That's what's going to go in here. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to get our screws. We're going to go ahead and get a washer, and we're going to secure all of these pieces of hardware to the appropriate locations. All right, now that we have all of our hardware attached to the ceiling in the appropriate places, we can now move on to the next step in the instructions. All right, so the next step in our installation is going to be to take this bar here, and we're gonna get this installed in its appropriate location. So we're gonna take this here and spread it. As you can see, it slides. We're gonna go ahead and get that put into the brackets that we installed in the ceiling. And the key thing to note here, this is our release handle here. So we're going to install this on the left side of the bracket in the ceiling. All right, once that's been secured into the bracket, we're going to go ahead and get the screws to get that set in place. All right, so for the next set of instructions, we're going to go ahead and take the A screws. These are going to go right into the bracket in the roof to hold everything together in place. And then we're going to go ahead and take the B screws, and we are going to lock the bar in place that we spread across to reach on each side. We're going to go ahead and get those set in place with that screw. All right, so here is where our A screw will go. And then over here, this is where we will attach B. Okay, so after you've undone your wires, we're going to take the longer of the two wires. So once you've identified the longer of the two wires, you're gonna go ahead, we're gonna stretch that across here, put it through the pulley, and then let it drape down to continue with the install. All right, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get our platform set up here. So to build the platform support, these will be in this location like so, the long way across. So with the section that is facing up, we're going to go ahead and place that onto our platform here. And then we can go ahead, get everything lined up and get the screws in place to hold everything together. So for this portion, we're going to be using our J screws, which are in bag number C. So we're going to head get those out and get ready to attach it all to the bottom support here. All right, so here's how we're going to attach these. This nut will go from the bottom side. We're going to pull the edge of this all the way up. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take our hooks, we're going to slide them down like so, and then we're going to tighten them from the bottom and do that all the way across until we are finished. All right, so we won't snug it down all the way. All right, so we'll keep it a little bit loose so that we can make sure that everything is set properly. But again, you take your J-hook, put it down, you put the nut on the bottom, and you tighten it. And if you want to speed up the process, this is a 10 millimeter. So what you can do is just put it up right after you get one set, put your J-hook in like so, pass it through the other side, put your nut in place, get your 10 millimeter, and tighten. All right, so with everything in place, we can position our rack on the floor to get ready for the next step. All right, so for this last section here of these nuts and bolts, we're gonna take out section D. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna place a washer followed by 2 nuts on each one of these bolts that pass through the support on the floor. So let's go ahead and do that now. So we go ahead, we pass this through here. We put 1 washer on. Then we're gonna put a bolt on here. And then after we get that bolt set, we'll add another one. Okay, and we'll repeat that for all 4 corners. All right, so now we have the entire platform attached to the wiring, and we'll go ahead on to the next portion of the installation. All right, so for the next step, we're gonna take this rod here and the handle. We're gonna place this on top here, and then we're going to get the screw in section E. It's got an Allen key and a screw. And we take that, we place that in here, and we get that locked in place. All right, so also a thing to notice here on this rod, you can change the length by unscrewing these 2 screws here. And if you notice further down, there's another hole, so you can slide this up a whole section if you need to shorten this rod. All right, so all we have to do now to work the hand crank is we take it, we insert it here, we go ahead and we pull that forward, and then you take it out of that section. So once we attach it in there after taking off the safety lock, you'll notice right here on the instructions which way to wind for up and which way for down. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the installation of the FLEXIMOUNTS GL1 garage ceiling storage lift. As you can see, the installation is fairly simple. They made it very easy to really maximize the space in your garage. It's your boy BT. Thank you for checking out this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.